Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and Mscribe, and today, let's talk about some runes, dude.
Let's do that. Some Bitcoin ecosystem plunge, right?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of discussion happening around runes lately.
Of course. Why wouldn't there be, right? We're seeing fungible token mania. Literally, every day we got country coins popping off on Solana.
Yeah.
Right? Literally some random country in Africa nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah, reaching $1 billion market cap in the same day, right?
In like hours.
Yeah.
And then we got Dave Portnoy literally pumping and dumping like daily now with the new shit coins. So it's like fungible tokens, are pretty important. They're pretty engaging, right? If you're paying attention to the right one at the right time, there's opportunity there. There's also opportunity to get crushed pretty aggressively. So it's not fun for everybody, right? But nonetheless, there's a viable fungible token ecosystem happening elsewhere other than the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? So what's that all about?
Yeah.
Right?
Let's try to break it down. So we're looking at Dune Analytics for runes. And if you just kind of run through the charts here, it's like you can see there's a common trend. It's like all of a sudden it kind of explodes and then it just tapers off. Yeah. And it's pretty consistent across the board here. Mint activity. We're looking at daily mint activity.
Yeah, if you don't know why, because when this fungible token protocol was first introduced, when was it? Like March?
April 2024.
So little like 8 or 9 months ago, it was the talk of the town, right? Every Solana meme coins, they were picking up, but not like how they are today, right? So the market was always looking for that next big thing, and everybody heard of this RUNES protocol because ordinals had great success during the bear market. Hey, you can do JPEGs and cool art and shit on Bitcoin, and it did really well. So it's like, you know what? Shitcoins on Bitcoin will probably also do very well, but as you can see from these charts, not really.
Yeah, there was maybe a few hours where Bitcoin was unusable. Like it was like hundreds of dollars to do a single transaction on Bitcoin. Yeah,
so as you can imagine, maxis were in full despair.
Right.
How dare you guys like completely kill our chain?
Yeah.
There's so much real world spending happening for Bitcoin, right? And then go look at the mempool right now. It's absolutely false. There is actually no real utility for Bitcoin. Nobody's spending Bitcoin to buy coffee in El Salvador, dude.
Correct.
Or in Argentina. It's not actually happening.
Yep.
So it's like, so then what do we do, right?
Yeah. It has been interesting. Over the last, I want to say 10 days or so, twice the mempool was empty.
Absolute ghost town.
Yeah.
And so that's because all these fungible token protocols, nobody has any desire to mint or inscribe anything anymore, right? So
that was like the main kind of like draw. It's like we can sustain Bitcoin with like these fees, right? As long as we create incentives like pictures and fungible tokens and things like that.
Yeah, viable markets, right? Interesting products, cool things, attract creators and artists and stuff. Like people can come and launch collections and maybe monetize their art. But there's a little bit of a toxic culture within the Bitcoin community itself that doesn't even like to see those things happen. So guess what happens? You push creators away from the ecosystem. The result of that, we're living through it today, guys.
Yeah.
So hopefully all you guys who flooded creators in the past, you were trying to actually bring value to the chain.
It's like, you got it.
This is what you get. These are the results, right?
Yeah. So now looking at Magic Eden and so top Bitcoin NFTs, and you're looking at Quantum Cats #1, and then look at that. We see Nat Cats #6.
Yeah. So a long history for all these ordinals. So, if you guys were around last cycle, you understand NFTs, you understand art, you understand PFPs. It's basically the majority of what happened within Bitcoin's ecosystem's time span, except for the Nat Cats. A little bit of a different caveat to that art, right? Although it's a different interpretation of how to produce them.
Yeah, so everything you're seeing here is like Quantum Cats, OMBs, Node Monkeys. This is content on Bitcoin. Nat Cats is content from Bitcoin.
Yeah, essentially like the production of a Nat Cat is entirely dependent on some pattern within Bitcoin's data set.
Which suggests that if that pattern occurs again on Bitcoin, that means new Nat Cats occur.
Yeah, so we've talked about it a lot in length in the past. This is like truly a novel creation on Bitcoin. So
yeah, look at that bitmap.
Yeah, bitmap's another one. Same thing. Metaverse land, not non-arbitrarily produced. It's dependent on Bitcoin data, right? So,
Right.
so there are some interesting new things emerging from the Bitcoin ecosystem. So this is why we continually like plug this stuff, right? We don't want to forget that this stuff exists and that more of it can be created in the future because I mean, it's actually new things, right?
Yeah, new in this case doesn't mean that, oh, now you can put pictures on Bitcoin. That's like a new thing. New means that is native and fundamental to Bitcoin, meaning you cannot have Natcats or Bitmap without Bitcoin, right? Or you can't you can't leverage the data propagation and the security of Bitcoin in the same way on other chains, right? So
we'll talk more about why that's important because in context of runes here in a second.
Yeah. So, all right. So on Magic Eden, runes by volume, we got Dog, which is dominating here, and RuneCoin, $1 billion cat.
So these are all the same top runes that have been around for basically since the beginning.
Yeah.
Not much has changed. You know, there was a period where people were trying to, you know, replicate what you see on Solana, right? It's just something funny's happening.
Or stable coins too, remember?
Yeah. There's been like a little bit of experimentation there.
Yeah.
Like leveraging the token protocol for something that's not totally meme related, right? So this is what you expect from like a fungible token ecosystem. But the majority of the activity is dominated around meme culture generation.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's just how do you have viability for this type of activity, right? Whenever there's like something on Solana that's doing so much better, why would anybody deploy here?
With 100 times the volume in minutes.
100?
At least.
Try like 1,000,000 times the volume, dude. Billion times the volume.
Well, per token, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like, Solana, a daily volume's like in the tens of billions.
Right.
You look at the runes, you're lucky if you crack 100,000, 200,000 here, right? So
yeah,
there's a massive problem trying to essentially construct the same product market, right? Which is meme coins, memery.
Yeah.
and something that's completely like disconnected from like what makes that viable, right? So hence the problem we're at.
All right, continuing on here, CB Spears, he says, as I've since said at the beginning, Bitcoin L1 may be considered a pristine issuance layer for digital assets and not the exchange settlement layer.
So how do you interpret that, dude?
So this is in response to Leonidas. It looks like his caps lock is stuck.
It's perpetually in all caps mode, dude.
Yeah, and basically suggesting that Dog is being ported to all these like different liquidity providers, right? Sexes, Hyperliquid, Solana, L2s, and L1.5s.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this in context of Nat for a while as well, right? It's like, hey, man, what about the idea of porting the Nat token to these more liquid-rich ecosystems, right? That seems like a good idea, as opposed to, and Leonidas kind of shares our frustration with the gatekeeping of the centralized exchange cartel.
Yeah.
Like he the reason why Dog hasn't really experienced any upside velocity is because, I guess he can't hand over the multiple millions of dollars to these tier 1 exchanges, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In his like breakdown here, he's saying that there's like 15 or so meme tokens have been listed on tier 1 exchanges that don't have anywhere near the volume or the market cap that Dog has, and each one of those have paid, essentially to get on that exchange.
I wonder how. I mean, I guess, there's always like insiders scooping up like a large percentage of the supply early on.
Yeah, that's true.
So then they probably like dump at some point while the token's on like a DEX.
That's true.
I think
some of these meme coins that he's talking about, they don't have like a free and fair mint, and they don't have 100%. So there's team allocations for these meme tokens, and I think so, dude.
That's from what I've seen, most of these are like pumped out fund launches, which you do not have the ability to.
Yeah, those do not. Yeah, correct.
So the only way to do that, I guess, would be like, insider. You know how they do it. They generate a ton of wallets. And they're all buying at these early stages.
Yeah.
Wait for the thing to 100, 200x, and they dump on the market. And then
but in this case, to get listed, you need a bunch of the tokens. So, I mean, as the dev, you could just buy up some of the supply and then do the effort to get it listed.
Yeah, however they're doing it, whatever. It's some sort of operation that is obviously very fruitful for Binance and the other tier ones because this is a ongoing running mechanism at play, and they're probably making a fortune off of this, right? So all he's saying is these actual really fairly distributed assets like dog, like Nat, where there's zero team supply, right?
Yeah.
And it was 100% claimed or airdropped in this case to real people out there. You're pretty much you're fucked.
Yeah.
In that case, you can't even play in that game. So what's the best thing to do? Probably leverage the on-chain economy a little bit more heavily.
Yeah,
right?
DEXs. Yeah, Jake is coming in. He says, Runes are now entering the stage of adding buy buttons to every ecosystem that exists. Great to see this now a mission, as this is what Emblem Vault has been implementing for Bitcoin NFT since 2020. And there's limited downside and insane upside. Look at Rare Pepes, for example, over 100 million in trading volume on Ethereum, which is magnitudes more than their native trading volume on Bitcoin. So Rare Pepes have been around since 2016, I believe, and it's like one of the early picture projects on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And the point is that they're doing 100 million in volume, like totally outside of Bitcoin.
Yeah. So what is this? This is like supporting evidence, right? That maybe it is a good idea to kind of like go down this pathway of Bitcoin issuance, cross-chain, viability / market penetration, right?
Yeah, and
it
so
worked for these legacy NFTs on chain, so maybe it'll work for these fungible tokens on Bitcoin.
Yeah, so that's still to be kind of tested, and there's some evidence to suggest it's true. I think it was one of the Runes token pups. It's on Solana, and has like a 60 million market cap versus on Bitcoin is like 40 million or something like that.
Well, ever since that, it's back down to 30 million. So
now they're each 30 million, right? There's no arbitrage.
In other words, like the pups migrating to Solana didn't all of a sudden make it like $1 billion token. Right?
Yeah.
This isn't like a home run, right? You all of a sudden bring all these runes, including dog, right, which is the top rune by far.
Yeah.
You bring it to Solana or whatever. All of a sudden, the market's gonna like care. Right?
Yeah.
That is the experience, but nonetheless, it still gives you like the access, right, for that market demographic to have the chance of caring and acquiring.
Yeah, because without that access, it's very unlikely you're going to take a demographic from Solana. It's like, okay, let me get a Bitcoin wallet. Let me get some Bitcoin. Let me
deal with 10-minute blocks.
At least 10-minute wait times.
Yeah, exactly. So you're talking like whole other realms of friction.
Yeah.
And even if they buy into the narrative of a Bitcoin meme coin, might not be worth, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But so nonetheless, this is still worth, I think, the attempt. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw evidence. I mean, we found ordinals way before most people, I would say. And there was a ton of volume in that ecosystem for a while everything else in the crypto realm was dead.
And I think the current meme economy, I think, is in a fragile enough state to where I think, like I said, every week there's a new meta at play, right? Where it's country coins, it's
celebrity coins,
it's gamer coins, celebrity coins, it's whatever, right? Whatever the flavor of the town is for this week, or sometimes even this day. It's that fickle, right?
Yeah.
To where, that to me just shows that market demographic, it really isn't loyal to anything.
Yeah.
Right. There is no like real belief in anything over there. It's just like, well, what is it that, collectively we can all just kind of pump together, right? So maybe by porting over the whole Bitcoin ecosystem, essentially, it's like
that's another potential for them to jump into.
Yeah. So I think that's the underlying like thesis here, right?
Yeah. And Tap Protocol comes in, and we just had a Twitter space with them on Friday, which you guys should listen to. It says, Runes on Tap Protocol. Tap will deliver Runes DeFi 2.0 to Bitcoin, and we love the Runes community to be central to this discussion. And so I definitely recommend you guys listen to that conversation. We had a couple of Runes creators on the chat as well.
Yeah. So this is like kind of like in the polar opposite end of the spectrum, right? Where it's like keep things more native to Bitcoin in the L1 space.
So what would your answer be of the point of keeping it to L1 Bitcoin? It's essentially to like continue funding the miners, right?
Well, that's one like net gain, I guess, but there's like an ethos against that nowadays. Like we're just making miners rich and making ourselves like liquid poor.
That's crazy.
it's not crazy. It's true. It's actually happening. Like miners got all the benefits, and then like,
well, yeah,
the market dies out, fizzles out. There's no like
but
reciprocal return of that liquidity, right?
yeah, but there is. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's no return on that. There's no circulation of that Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just like a straight feed the miners, and like everyone else over time is just like.
Yeah, I guess in return of feeding the miners, theoretically, as the security goes up, and if you look at the hash, it's only going up.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so. It's not but that's an ethos discussion, right? Like for this Bitcoin ecosystem, it's really important for us to maintain security, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like it's good to build natively on Bitcoin and contribute more fee activity, because at the end of the day, it sustains the network, right? Which,
yeah.
So you do this on other chains, you're no longer contributing to that end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's that trade-off. It's just a matter of, again, it's like, what do people actually care about or believe in?
Yeah, and it seems right now the demographic is only care about number go up and doesn't really matter.
It's bull market, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, convictions and beliefs and like, that stuff matters a lot more in a bear market, right?
Yeah.
In a bull market, it's like everyone's like, clock's ticking, dude.
Yeah,
we only got
show me the contract address.
Yeah, we only got 6 months left of like number go up,
Yeah, potential.
Before the next FTX, right? Maybe MicroStrategy.
Yeah.
Their horrible rebranding to Strategy B or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever that thing is called now. Strategy, right?
Strategy, yeah.
Maybe that's the next grand collapse. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Or it could be the fact that Michael Saylor's convincing other companies of doing the same thing, using leverage to buy Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And
then, like somebody fucks that up?
Yeah, somebody messes it up, and
like
now
gets greedy.
Yeah, all of a sudden you might get a $700,000 Bitcoin when all these companies are leveraging their future, right? Yeah. But then that means that you might see a $50,000 Bitcoin when everything collapses.
Has any other company like started doing that?
Yeah. There's a few companies doing that now.
Oh Jesus, dude, are you serious?
It's not to the same scale as MicroStrategy, but
not yet.
Yeah, not
just
yet.
Wait till they realize, like, oh shit, this is working.
Yeah,
and they just keep going ham.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky because right now is the time where Bitcoin generally goes only up.
Right.
So things work when things go up.
Exactly.
And then once it starts going down, all of a sudden things stop working.
Especially if you over leverage yourself.
Right.
Like you get greedy on the up times.
Yeah.
Which we've seen happen over and over again.
Yeah.
In these financial markets. So
so then margin calls come in. They have to sell Bitcoin, and it just plummets to like
cascade.
Yeah. So if you look at the rainbow chart, we're like down way below where it should be.
Oh no, dude! Fuck, that might actually be how this all comes to a abrupt end.
Yeah, make sure you guys bookmark this video because we'll come back in like I don't know 6 to 12 months.
12 months, whenever the music stops, right?
Yeah.
But until then, you got runes.
Runes on Solana though.
We got memes. We got AI. We got all kinds of cool stuff, right?
Yeah. All right, final thing here. It says the next 100x is on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is 18x bigger than Solana. Majority of Solana users are gambling with meme coins. Retail doesn't own Bitcoin. Most of them have ETH and Sol. Runes are not user-friendly yet, and adoption takes time. And then the traditional chart of like, here's the market cap of this Solana blockchain. Here's the market cap of meme coins. Like, it's a pretty big percentage.
Yeah.
And then Bitcoin market cap versus everything on Bitcoin, essentially.
Essentially.
Like a pixel.
Yeah, it's literally almost a nothing burger, right? And this applies to Ethereum too, with not its meme market, just its fungible token market, which is like DeFi, GameFi, and whatever else they're doing over there on ETH.
Yeah, it's important to note that this tweet here, although it's generally correct, was made in July, so 6 months ago.
Yeah, but this has been the focal thesis behind why this Bitcoin ecosystem matters, right? It's that level of upside potential.
Yeah.
To kind of like, building a sensible ecosystem with its own like native rails. Hopefully maybe in the future. Today doesn't seem like it's really being adopted or hasn't been fully figured out yet to where you have like market viability, right? But the idea is to get to that point so that that little dot becomes in parity with the bigger circle here.
Yeah, and if we were to redraw this to scale today,
that got bigger.
This got double in size.
Yeah,
roughly
something like that.
Roughly double. And this pretty much stayed the same.
It probably got smaller, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it did. I
And-
think
and-
runes have been basically only bleeding since then.
Yeah. And so Solana's market cap, I don't think it's changed all that much.
Might have went up like a hair
Yeah.
since then.
And
But
so
that meme market definitely got bigger.
definitely got bigger, yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting market dynamics. Every chain has their own like native products. Like obviously memes make a lot of sense on Solana. The culture's right. The infrastructure's right.
User experience, smooth, fast.
Yeah, so that's why I hesitate to assume. So if we port Bitcoin meme coins there, all of a sudden runes, even though they're being issued here on Bitcoin, it's like somehow that market's gonna like identify that as like something.
Yeah, something
some
to
new
note.
ground break, right?
Yeah.
Which is why we're more heavily focused on like this DMT aspect, because it's same thing, right? Where you can issue Bitcoin native production,
Yeah.
but with like an actual spin on it, where that can't be like replicated in any other chain environment, right?
Yeah.
And still has that accessibility, exportation about it, like
Sure.
that any of these other assets on Bitcoin do as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's something that will probably make a lot more sense to these broader demographics. It's like, oh wow, you know, I could build a game on Solana that these assets being produced in my game, it's dependent on what's happening on Bitcoin. Like,
Sure,
that's
sure.
actually something cool and unique and novel.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the suggestion here is like, yeah, you could do like a runes token on Bitcoin, port it to Solana, but the net difference in like the two ecosystems is negligible, because it's like, why not just launch the token on Solana to begin with? Because you don't get any benefits from Bitcoin.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to like mind warp everybody on these other chain environments, like
It's like, yeah,
somehow because
like
it was,
they're going to care that it's a rune token.
yeah. So I mean, it could happen. I just me personally, I wouldn't bet the house on it, but
Yeah.
again, it's worth the attempt because of the existing like infrastructure state of what's happening natively on Bitcoin is just not there yet to
Yeah.
like, really support this stuff.
Do it for the science,
Yeah,
right? Let's see what happens.
yeah, and all of a sudden the world is like, dude, fuck yeah, cook everything on Bitcoin. Then, yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Full port, right?
That's awesome. Well, you guys were here
Yeah.
at the very beginning of that, right? So
Yeah.
that's good news.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it for us. We talked about ordinals, runes, porting. If you guys have any questions, please let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you find anything that you think we should look into, talk about, let us know as well. Appreciate you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.